Discrimination by the people who determine how much your home is worth.
It's a Channel 2 Action News investigation that affects the biggest investment most of us have, and that's our homes. Channel 2 consumer investigator Justin Gray talked to families who say they've experienced appraisal discrimination right here in Metro Atlanta.
The value of that appraisal is so important. It determines how much equity you have in the home. It's how families create generational wealth. We talked to homeowners who say they were forced to hide who they are to get a fair appraisal.
When we did the second appraisal, everything in here had to go.
Asmir Davis took Muhammad Ali off the basement wall, a painting of her child out of his bedroom. The extreme home makeover had one goal: to disguise the fact that the Davises are black.
It's a very well-known fact, especially in the black communities, that our homes are undervalued significantly in comparison to white communities.
Davis learned that firsthand when she had the first appraisal done to refinance the mortgage on her Douglas County home. So we're talking an appraisal that came back nowhere close to what you thought the value of the home was.
Nowhere close.
That appraisal came back barely more than what the family paid for the home back in 2015, before the recent real estate boom. So she asked the bank for a reappraisal, but first cleared out all traces of her family.
For the second appraisal, we removed not only everything in the home, but my husband and I removed ourselves.
When a white neighbor stood in for the family, the second appraiser valued the home at $640,000, nearly a 30% increase from just weeks earlier. There's not much doubt in your mind what that was about.
Absolutely.
Sarah Hayden's family is hanging family photos on the walls in their new home in Missouri. But she took down all these prized family memories in her Metro Atlanta home after having the same experience as the Davis family.
I made arrangements for my husband to leave the house. I made arrangements for our nanny to take our son out of the house during the time of the appraisal.
After a first appraisal that came in well under the value of the home, Hayden felt she had to hide her biracial family.
We got the second appraisal back less than 24 hours later, and it came back at $504,000. So a huge difference. I mean, $70,000 difference.
It's a problem happening not just here in Metro Atlanta, but nationwide. The Biden administration has even created a special task force to address the issue called PAVE. I talked to the executive director, Melody Taylor.
The appraisal industry is 97% male-dominated, white-dominated.
Taylor says addressing that extreme lack of diversity among appraisers is among the top priorities in this action plan her White House task force issued.
The appraisal industry is loosely regulated, and that subjectivity, that bias can tend to be baked into various processes along the way.
Atlanta real estate agent Amy McCoy says she's seen it happen to too many families, but says there is something homeowners can do.
You're going to have to report it. You know, just like we want to talk to the manager when our cheeseburgers aren't right?
So Sarah Hayden filed an official complaint with the Federal Office of Fair Housing and Equal Opportunity.
That's why I made the complaint, because I wanted other people to know, like, this happened to us. It can happen to anybody.
Customers can also do what both Hayden and Davis did: ask the bank for a second appraisal.
It behooves consumers to get educated around what's called reconsideration of values.
To have to remove yourself from it in order to get what is, justly yours is very demoralizing, and it's something that has to change.
The Georgia Real Estate Commission and Appraisers Board and 3 different groups representing appraisers all didn't respond to our requests for an interview or a comment for this story. Reporting in Northeast Atlanta, Justin Gray, Channel 2 Action News.
Good morning. Today is Thursday, November 10th. The year is 2022. As you can see, you hear Grace. That's Grayson back there screaming. They're in their cages. They've been running around all morning. I'm exhausted. I said, okay. So what I'm doing now is I'm going back to the strict caging of the doggies. They can only come out to go outside, use the bathroom, and go back to their cages until they learn the hard way not to use the bathroom within this house. They've been leaving little surprises for me here and there, and I have to go hunt and find it, like Easter egg hunting. But it ain't Easter eggs I'm hunting for. So, wow, that's an interesting report, news report I just the housing market appraisers here, housing market. I might have to put him outdoors because he ain't gonna stop his crying. So give me 1 second so we can have some peace. I'll be right back. And I'm back. So yeah, I put him outdoors on the patio, so we want to hear all that whimpering and whining. So let him stay out there for a second. He only gonna be out there for a minute. But anyway, Atlanta, Georgia is, of course, known as this mecca for black folks. To come here, move here, buy homes. A lot of folks retire here. They buy real estate. And a lot of people own homes. I used to build and renovate houses here in Atlanta. And years and years ago, I learned about these appraisers coming to your home and devaluing your property because of your race. It happens in Atlanta like it happens in Chicago, like it happens in D.C. or Maryland or New York, or it happens in every state. Houses are probably going to be, for many of us, our largest investment. The biggest investment we ever really make will be purchasing these homes. And when you go to sell your home or refinance your home, and the appraisal comes in too low because of the color of your skin, and they've proven this so many times, you guys. There's article after article, news report after news report, from New York to Los Angeles, where if a black person is staying in their home, or if the appraiser is able to figure out that you're black, if they might see you at the door when you open up the door, or they might see your photographs or artwork that identify you as being a minority, they drop the value of the house for whatever reasons. And it's been going on forever. For at least since the 90s that I know of. So you would think in Atlanta that probably wouldn't be happening, but yeah, it is happening here. I've seen it. Excuse me for a second. And in fact, when I used to build and renovate houses, I learned very quickly that if I wanted to sell those homes, my black face didn't need to be seen. I would literally hide myself as a worker in the house, cleaning and dusting. When people come in and look at the houses, and they be asking questions, I said, "Well, the owner's not here right now. I'm just working for the contractor." But I would never let them know that I was the contractor, because that always created a problem for some reason. I guess it's this beauty brown mocha skin here. It wasn't white enough. And so we would choose a real estate agent. Earl was a licensed real estate agent. We try to sell it with him, but then we switch agencies, and it just became a thing of hide and seek, hiding who we are, seeking different buyers to purchase our home. It was just really crazy, y'all. And I just learned to accept it and moved on. I can't change people's perceptions about a home owned by a black person or a home that's been renovated by a black contractor. So the only thing I could do is just hide who owned the house. And I wouldn't really reveal I was the owner of the house until after the house had closed. Then when they were asking for stuff to do, I'd come over and say, "Okay," I said, "Yeah, I'm the owner of the house." And by that time, we didn't even go to the closing at all. We'd go sign our docs before they did and meet at a different time. It was crazy, but indicative of the times that we live in. Wealth, trying to accumulate wealth as a black person is a struggle here in the United States, because they don't want you to have it. They just don't. They don't want you to have a home that's worth X, Y, Z. Or they refuse to believe that you live in a home worth more than their own home. That's another problem. So when you're doing these appraisals on these houses and you're refinancing or you're going to sell your house, always, remove anything that can identify your race. Artwork, pictures, magazines, family photos, furniture that might be African. If y'all know like I know, and I'm going to tell you something I know from learning the hard way, you have to work really hard and focus on your home. When you go to refinance or sell it, should just look like any basic plain home with no way to reveal who you are, your race. Otherwise, you're gonna be in trouble. And back in the day, before I really woke up, I had to wake up, y'all. I'm woke, I would meet the appraisers at these houses, and the appraiser would come back low. And I would say, well, how is this appraisal low? I got a house over here off such and such street in this area. My house is better. What's going on here? And I had a loan officer. She said, well, so you can't be in there to meet them people. You got to have somebody else meet them. The key under the mat. And you got to let them, don't let them see you, because we never get these loans done. And that's what I started doing. I just leave the key under the mat. She would order the appraisal. The appraiser would come out. If we didn't know the appraiser back then, you could choose your appraiser. But sometimes we couldn't choose the appraiser. So I would say, okay, leave the house, key under the mat, let them go in, and voila, we get our market value for the house. The few times I met those appraisers, that didn't happen. So this house that I was bidding on is a prime example. I had some issues with the agent who listed this house. When she saw my black face, all hell broke loose. And it's just weird how white people, they don't see racism. They don't see their behavior being racist. They just don't. It's like living with an alcoholic. So we live in the United States with a whole bunch of alcoholics who don't know that they're alcoholics. They just don't know it. They don't realize that they got a drinking problem. We live in a country with a whole lot of white folks who don't think what they do is racist. They don't. But devaluing somebody's house, cutting their value, is cutting their wealth also. Redlining has been going on in America for decades now, and it's still going on today. You might live in an all-white neighborhood or a mixed race neighborhood, but when they see you are black, they're gonna put a red line around their house and say, we're gonna devalue this. Welcome to Niggerville, y'all. We bring your shit down. Now remember, we didn't create Niggerville. Speaking of that, y'all, I chipped my Niggerville glass. Damn, I gotta get a new one. I'm gonna order a whole bunch this time so I can sell it. I dropped it. I hate that. Anyway, let me get another one. Get a few more, a lot more. I'm selling them. But we didn't create Niggerville, y'all. We didn't. We were not the architects and builders of this. White people were. And they still are the architects of it. They are the ones who decide the value of your homes that you live in. Whether you will have a decent grocery store in your neighborhood, or banks or retail stores were open. I was in one side of Atlanta, went to a friend of mine's house for a party. We drove for miles trying to find a grocery store, and it was in Atlanta. I said, well, they ain't got nothing on this side of town. I said, but by now, I thought they would have built something. There was nothing for miles and miles and miles. We were just driving. I said, what? Because we were supposed to grab something to take to the housewarming party. And I said, we'll just grab something over that area. Little did I know, we get over there, it was going to be in the middle of nowhere. I mean, we're city of Atlanta. For miles, no Kroger, no Publix, no Walgreens, no CVS. I'm like, where's this stuff? Nothing over there. So we had to go back out the area that we were in, miles away, to find a grocery store. We found a Walgreens, I believe. And then we took care of our business in Walgreens and headed back over in that direction. I was shocked at all these brand new homes, expensive houses, passing subdivisions. They ain't got nothing out there. I'm like, nothing. This is ridiculous. Nothing. They've redlined those areas. They're not going to build no fancy stores or no grocery store. Publix ain't going over there. Kroger ain't even going over there. You'd be lucky if you saw Piggly Wiggly. You didn't even see one of them. Saw a little couple of corner stores with high prices in there. I'm like, good Lord. I ended up going to a liquor store way back over to that. We need to pick up a bottle of vodka. I went into the store and met some Asian folks over there. That shit was high as hell. I said, this is the most expensive bottle of vodka. I mean, it was outrageously priced. And you couldn't even touch the liquor because it was all behind this plastic and glass, and they couldn't say they was having theft. That's why the prices were high, because you couldn't get to none of that. They had to bring it to you. I looked at the prices. I went on paid for it because we was over there in Niggerville. And I said, okay, but I ain't come back over here no more about it, so I should have got some shit over here where I live at. Before I left prices dirt cheap up the street. I'm like, well, why is it so high over here? What's running these prices up so high? I don't get it. But if you are buying a home or refinancing your home or selling your home, you don't need to be there when that appraisal comes through. I've known this since the 90s. That's when we were doing them houses, in the late 90s, early 2000s. By 2000, well, by the time 2000 rolled around, 1999, 2000, I knew. I had been bamboozled in the late 90s, 98, 99. And when I tried to buy a house in the old fourth ward, they put that house through hell. Old fourth ward, when it's as beautiful as it is today now, the old fourth ward is a very nice neighborhood now. Everybody would love to live in that, but it wasn't like that back in 1998. And we went through multiple appraisers before we finally got an appraisal done that when they brought the value in so I could purchase that house, because they did not want to give that house a dime of value. Not back then. So I've been down this path. I know what it's like to be a black person trying to either buy, sell, or refinance a home, and then motherfuckers see your black ass there and they cut them values. If there's too many niggas around there, you're gonna be in trouble. They're gonna cut that value. If you can have somebody white show up, a white friend, if you got any, just hire a white one. We need that's gonna be a good business. Hire a white woman to come babysit your house to meet the appraiser. My name is Karen, and she come in and set up pictures on the countertops and dresses and nightstand. She come over, have a little baby, the kids running around. Mommy, whose house is this? Shh, be quiet. I told you to be quiet about this. Mommy's working right now. She can get rich. Karen going into black folks' houses pretending that she live there. Just so you can get an a market value appraisal on your damn home. And the fact that this has to be done in Atlanta is still very disappointing. Yeah, when I saw that, I said, Atlanta, they still get this issue, but I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised, y'all. I'm not surprised at all that they have these issues here. Ooh, kind of itchy. I'm not surprised. Not surprised anymore. It's just the world that we live in. After we went through Trump as president, good Lord. I mean, this country's, they're just showing you who they really are. They're just being honest about who they are. When them white folks white appraisers walk into those houses and they see your black face, they're gonna strike that value by 100. They're gonna mock it. They're gonna give you the Niggerville markdown and knock it down the value. They're not bringing in what you want. In many instances, because the appraiser has now cut the value, and it's so hard to do a refinance. I've refinanced a lot of properties in the past. I have no need to refinance this one now. I believe I got low as interest rate. I'll be crazy. I'm not doing no cash out refinance on this, but I don't own much on it. But it'd be kind of crazy. I mean, if you're trying to take care of business, some people they get the wrong appraiser, and then you have to switch banks. Start the process over at another lender. So just to eliminate that problem, take my good advice. Don't have your black ass there when the appraisals show up. And I'm saying this from the love of my heart towards my brothers and sisters. Do not have your black ass in that fucking house. Go someplace else. Leave the key under the mat and let the men remove your pictures, your artwork, furniture, anything that identifies your race needs to go. Put up some fake pictures of some white folks on your nightstand, shit. Y'all don't have to learn how to play the game, because I've done that. Y'all gonna have to learn how to play the game to succeed in this world. It's just the way it is. Even if you're buying a home and the appraiser has to come out, don't be over there. Don't let the appraiser see who you are. Don't let that appraiser know who you are. When you're buying, selling, refinance, I don't care what you're doing. They don't need to know who you are. Now, I know I got some no-limit soldiers out there saying, I ain't gonna tell them what they're gonna tell me what to do. I'm gonna be my black ass there. You're gonna sadly realize that They don't care how much money you got. They don't care how expensive your house is. They don't care about how clean your credit is. They don't care about none of that shit. They looking at the color of your damn skin. I learned that years ago. When I bought the house up in Buckhead, had a hard ass time trying to refinance that thing. Wouldn't bring value in. Biggest house in the neighborhood. They put me through hell in the middle of Buckhead. By the time I knew what to do, I cleaned up all that shit in there. I love black artwork myself personally. I don't have any in this particular house right now. I have some artwork in storage that I want to put up. I have one picture I need to get framed. Damn, I forgot all about that damn picture. I need to get that picture framed immediately before I mess it up. I have it upstairs. I need to go get it. Where do you get these pictures framed at? I need to know. Anyway, it's a big, large picture I want to put on this wall. But if I were to ever sell, refinance, or whatever, that picture gonna have to go in the closet. Now, y'all might say, well, some white folks own black artwork. Yeah, right. Okay, they might. I think African theme. We might, black folks at one point we were buying Asian artwork and stuff like that. I hate that we have to have this conversation. I do. But y'all, look around you. Well, I keep talking about what happened in Gary, Indiana. That has not changed. They don't want you to have wealth or money or a good life or a good education or good groceries or clean water or clean air, a safe neighborhood. They don't want it. They don't want you to have none of the above. Don't y'all get it? Y'all don't get it, do you? I do. Welcome to Niggerville, y'all. None of that shit is allowed. Not for your black ass or my black ass. Escape from Niggerville. Sometimes you can't escape from it. Sometimes you gotta pretend you don't live there no more. Take your pictures down off the wall. Remove your afros, the black wigs off the counter. Big ass, your sister's gonna do that afro wig. I take that shit, hide it back in the box. Anything that identifies your race, you better move it out that house. I'm telling you. Now, I've had this conversation with a lot of people. Some folks listen, and some people don't. Why would you try to sell our house? I said, well, what's the problem? You go over to the house and say, oh, this is the issue. You niggas here. Y'all can't be in here. Y'all trying to sell this house. You gotta move. Clean the shit up out of it. Get the shit out the damn house. Sometimes it's better just to sell a house vacant. Put shit in storage. Go someplace else for the time being until you sell it. Oh, he sold it finally. Oh, good. You see, you got that shit out of there. Anything that identifies race, I'm serious. I'm serious as AIDS. I'm very serious about this. A house is a large investment. I sunk a lot of money into this house. I'm not about to sit here and let my value be, if I were to sell or refinance or whatever I'm trying to do over here, I'm gonna do whatever I have to do to make it that work. Luckily, I don't have any of those issues on the table at this point, at least right now. But I hope y'all watch that news report and pay attention. Don't be living in no fantasy world about what's going on out here. Don't fool yourself into thinking just because you don't live in the midst of Niggerville that you ain't in Niggerville. You still there, nigga. You still there. And also, I feel sorry for this. Some people, I'm just going to say this, I know y'all not going to like this. If you have one of them Afrocentric names, you doomed. Period. Exclamation point. You got Wada Wada Lulu, Afrocentric names that parents of the 70s, 80s, and 90s today still love. Devantrius. So, sometimes I look at these names I can't even pronounce, and I say, oh, Lord, how do you pronounce this mess? I just skip it and go to the last name, Mr. Jones. I can't say that Devantarius Z. I didn't see whenever you watch these news reports, and I don't even know how these reporters, they must be practicing names, because I'm like, wow. But how do they pronounce it? Because I'll stumble through the names. Oh, how do you pronounce this mess? Who named their child this? And then send them out into this white world to succeed and have success. Hey, how is that possible? Applying for colleges, job applications, mortgages, credit card. They see these weird names. They already know. Okay, denied. But in file 13. That's a video for a whole nother video about names. These Afrocentric names. I don't know where they ever came from. As a little kid, I used to hate my little name Walter. Walter, and now it's Walter Jr. too. I just, it was so boring, so square. I'm happy. It was just a regular name, because I could see it could have been much worse. My mother didn't get into the Afrocentric mess, thank goodness. I mean, we have just regular names. We're not one of them tongue twisters. But anyway, I just wanted to do a little video about that. I thought that caught my eye yesterday on the news, and I thought, wow, this is interesting. Nothing has changed. Yeah, and that story was based right here in Atlanta. That news segment you saw. But anyway, I'm about to get up from here. It's getting later. Today is Thursday, November 10th. The year is 2022. I'm out of here. Enjoy the rest of the day. And I might come back and do another video later on, because today's kind of one of our slow days. It is real cloudy outside. We'll see. All right, I'm out. Enjoy the rest of your beautiful Thursday.